There is, deep within the human heart, a trembling urge to be good. Not merely to appear good, though that temptation is always close, but to become something pure, something righteous, something worthy of the mysterious gaze of God or the approving eyes of society. And yet, in that very striving, in that anxious tightening of the soul, corruption begins. You see, the moment you try to be good, you have already divided yourself. There is now the one who is and the one who should be. And between those two, there stretches a vast tension, a rope drawn taut between heaven and earth. You begin to live in conflict with yourself, chasing an ideal image that always dances just beyond your reach. That image of goodness, that saintly silhouette, is nothing but your own shadow projected upon the wall of your imagination. You chase it endlessly but never catch it, because it does not exist apart from your pursuit. Have you noticed that those who most desire to be pure are often the ones most haunted by impurity? The priest who condemns lust dreams of the very thing he forbids. The moralist who shouts against greed covets virtue itself like a possession. And the man who wants to be humble takes pride in his humility. This is the exquisite irony of human virtue. The more you clutch it, the more it slips away. The moment you try to be loving, your love becomes a performance. The moment you try to be honest, your honesty becomes self-conscious. And the moment you try to be spiritual, your spirituality becomes a disguise. True goodness, if we can use that word at all, is effortless. It is not the result of control or will, but the fragrance that arises naturally when one stops pretending to be anything at all. But of course, that sounds terribly risky, doesn't it? Because if you stop trying to be good, won't you become bad? Won't chaos break loose in the streets of your soul? That's the fear. That's the superstition of the moral mind, that without rules, without striving, without the whip of conscience, we would descend into madness. But I suggest to you that madness begins with control, with the endless effort to separate the angel from the animal, the saint from the sinner. In trying to be one and not the other, we become both and tear ourselves apart in the process. When Dostoevsky wrote of Raskolnikov, he was not writing about a criminal, but about all of us, the divided man. Raskol in Russian means split. We are all split between what we are and what we think we ought to be, between the raw immediacy of life and the sterile dream of perfection. And so we live in guilt, endlessly measuring ourselves against a ghost. We kneel before mirrors, not gods. Let's take a simple example. Imagine you are walking through a park and see a beggar. Immediately, the mind awakens its moral machinery. I should help. A good person would help. So you give him a coin, not from compassion, but from anxiety, the fear of not being good. And though your action appears virtuous, it carries within it the subtle poison of self-deception. You do not help the man, you help the idea of yourself. But what would it mean to act without that tension, to move from the heart, not from obligation? You might still give, you might not. But either way, there would be no guilt, no self-image to protect, no imaginary scoreboard of virtue. There would be only response, spontaneous and sincere, like the wind passing through the trees. You see, the universe itself does not try to be good. It simply is. The sun does not shine for merit. The rain does not fall for praise. The flower does not bloom because it believes it should. And yet there is beauty, balance, and astonishing harmony. The human tragedy is that we have inherited consciousness without trust. We can reflect, but we do not relax. We want to manage the mystery, to make life conform to our idea of virtue, and that is why our goodness so often tastes bitter. It is forced, disciplined, strategic. We are like children smiling for a photograph, trying to look the way love looks, instead of simply being alive. Perhaps the real corruption is not evil at all, but pretense. Perhaps the devil does not wear horns, but halos. You can see this everywhere, in politics, in religion, even in personal relationships. The man who insists most loudly on honesty is often the one hiding the deepest deceit. The one who preaches purity is secretly at war with his own desires. The one who seeks sainthood cannot stand his own humanity. And so, the world is filled with good men doing terrible things, not because they love evil, but because they cannot love themselves. Now you might say, but surely we must aim for goodness. Without moral effort, society would collapse. And yet, look around. Has all our striving made us kinder? Has our discipline made us whole? We have built towers of virtue and temples of justice, and still the human heart trembles in confusion.